Yo, it's MC Devi here. You are listening to the Bayat Beat podcast, exposing the truth as we see it. This is a podcast where a son, a mother of one, and a grandmother of three open up each other's eyes to the Matrix, look at the modern day world from the perspective of three different generations, follow, laugh, and brilliantly analyze the tragic comedy we know as the human experience. Music you are listening to is by my late and great grandfather Saadun El Bayati. May he rest in peace. Yo, it's MC Devi here with another episode of the Bayat Beat. I'm joined by my two lovely co-hosts, the talented Reverend Summer El Bayati and the matriarch Barbara El Bayati.
Hello. Hey.
We also have two guests over here, the lovely Cristina and Michael Friedman.
Hola.
Hey.
We're going to go ahead and talk to them about their pickle business, among other things. I'm still sick. It's been a couple weeks. And that's kind of why we missed the last week's episode. But there was another reason.
Oh, we were out of town.
Yeah.
In Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Florida Nature Culture Center.
Lovely Florida. The edge of the Everglades.
Okay. So, Cristina and Michael Friedman,
Yes.
we're going to ask you about Shmakee pickles.
Woo, Shmakee.
The best pickles ever,
Thank you. Thank you.
which is an objective fact,
This is objective.
by the way.
yes.
Objective. Sadly, I couldn't really eat them when I was sick, and I was really disappointed. And so, yeah. A couple pickles got wasted. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Went down in the graveyard. So sad.
That's okay. I ate for you.
Yeah. So, how did this pickle journey start?
Well, how do you want to start?
Back to
Well,
the beginning.
Yeah, I
Way
mean,
back to the beginning.
we can talk about a concoction that Cristina was playing around with. So why don't you go ahead and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I wanted something that was like this little drink that could be very healthy for you because raw apple cider vinegar has many beneficial properties. And then I heard about capsaicin, which is like the ingredient that's in peppers. So I added that and other things, garlic and onions, and it kind of was really delicious. And I used to put on my salad dressing, and that's kind of how it started. It was more like a health drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was more
It was
my
like
thing.
Gatorade.
Yeah, that was my thing. And we all seem to love it. And so then one day Michael said, you know what? I think I'm going to use it to make pickles.
Well, it was a little more
Well-
involved than that. I mean, basically what we did was Christina was playing around with the usage of capsaicin, and for those of you who are not familiar with with what capsaicin is, it's the chemical ingredient in hot peppers that make them hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a lot of research on the health benefits of capsaicin, and one of the things that it could potentially do is open up your bloodstream. So it's very, very beneficial in that regard. So after Cristina came up with this concoction, in actuality, I partnered with a couple of friends of mine, and we tried to make an energy shot actually with it. You know, sort of like a 5-hour energy type of a thing with the little bottle and all that. And we were actually using capsaicin, the idea of capsaicin with caffeine. Okay. But what ended up happening was that the formula that Cristina had come up with, which was the inspiration to do it, we actually pushed that off to the side because we used a food scientist who basically told us that what we needed to use was extracts, right? So we were using extracts. So for example, we were using mango extract and capsaicin and all these different extracts. Long story short, it was just going to cost too much money to actually be able to produce the first batch of doing this. So anyway, so we kind of petered out a little bit, but this formula was still sitting there that Cristina had come up with. So I don't know, one day I came up with this idea. I said, I wonder how this would be in making pickle brine. So I started playing around with it and actually, engineering, kind of playing around with the formula and engineering it into pickles. So, so I, we made our first batch of pickles. I think it was probably back in 2013. And we basically just distributed them to friends and family, and they were just loving them. And just at one point, they just basically said, you guys need to get these in stores. And more people kept telling us that, family, etc. So finally, in 2014, we decided to incorporate and create this company called Shmakee. And Cristina can kind of tell you a little bit about how the name Shmakee came about.
I love this name, Shmakee. Well, we have 2 sons, but our youngest son is named Max. And you know how sometimes you give your children little nicknames? Well, Max was like Schmax, Shmakee. So just Shmakee kind of stuck with Max. So Shmakee is a nickname for our youngest son.
Yeah, Shmakee. It's time to come down for dinner.
Shmakee, exactly. Shmakee, do your homework.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah, but he won't admit it. When he gets a little older, I think he'll appreciate it.
Yes.
The business was named after me.
Exactly. Then he'll.
But if you read the side of the jar, it basically talks about how I was brought up in a Jewish home with a Jewish mother from Mexico, and I don't know if you ever read the side of the jar or not.
Yeah.
But my mom was born and raised in Mexico, and so when they moved to Cleveland, Ohio, which is where I was born, my mother was, and this is back in the 60s. My mother was. There were no Del Tacos around or Taco Bell. Nobody even knew what a tortilla was back then, and where I grew up in Ohio. So my mother used to make all this Mexican food. So I grew up with spicy food, but being Jewish as well, I grew up with pickles. So we kind of married the two together, so to speak, to make actually spicy pickles, because that's kind of our signature. We use habanero to make them spicy, so they're spicy pickles, right? But interestingly enough, and it talks about how I grew up in a Jewish home, etc. But sticking with this whole name thing, after we got in the stores, and we can talk a little bit about our first stores and how we kind of grew from there. But I did get a call one day from this elderly Jewish woman who had tried our pickled eggs. She called up our business line, and she did not know where she had bought the pickled eggs. And she said, basically, Geschmack. And I'm like, I'm sorry, did you mean Shmakee? Are you? Yeah, Shmakee. She says, I bought your pickled eggs. And so we figured it out, and it was a store on Beverly Hills Drive. Bristol Farms over there. And so after we figured out where she could go buy her eggs, she said, so you never heard of Geschmack? Geschmack? And I said, well, what's that? She said, you're Jewish, right? I said, yeah. You don't know any Yiddish? Geschmack actually means, and it's spelled the same way without the 2 E's at the end. Geschmack means delicious in Yiddish.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's pretty
it's
crazy.
really crazy.
Wow.
Good thing it didn't mean something else,
Yeah,
but
something
It's
bad.
mystical. It's very
Yeah.
mystical.
But it's
And we
pretty-
had to look it up because we weren't really sure if she was.
But it really,
you know,
yeah, it means
Well,
But
are you
it's-
serious?
it means tasty in
Yeah.
in
definitely
Yiddish.
true.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway.
It lives up to its name.
Yes, it does.
Tasty.
Yes, it does.
Very
Sure
tasty.
does.
So the business wasn't just like you started the business and like it went booming. It was a slow process, right?
It still is.
Still
Yeah.
is, yeah, from 2013 up. So as an entrepreneur, how did you like get through that? Was there ups and downs, or did you just like it was just like, yeah, let's be patient with business?
Yeah, I think Shmakee kind of sells itself because the product is really, really good. So we had the good fortune of, going to the stores and just presenting it and saying, please taste them. And every single store that when they tasted them, they wanted our product in their store. And it's been that way ever since. I mean, it's the product really does sell itself. We're just there kind of just saying, here, please try.
Try it.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that when we first decided that, okay, we're going to sell them, we thought maybe farmers markets, because that's really great traffic. Sorry.
It's okay.
Traffic, and a lot of people will be tasting them and seeing them. But at that particular time, it was either they said they already had a pickle company, or there was a waiting list. So we didn't want to wait. So we went to our first store, which is Pacific Ranch Market here in Orange. And they were the first ones that said, yes, we want them. And they're one of our greatest stores that we have. So did you want to add anything? I don't know.
No, I mean, if you want to kind of get kind of the history of or kind of the progression of it, if you want.
Yeah,
talk about
sure.
that a little bit.
How's the progression?
Well, like Cristina mentioned, we got our first store actually in January of 2014. So obviously we were very encouraged. We did our first demo there. We sold a whole bunch when we did the demo. And then we figured, okay, well, this worked. Let's go try another store. So then we went to a store called Irvine Ranch Market in Costa Mesa, I think it is. And and then they picked it up there. So then we just kept, then we approached Bristol Farms, got a meeting with the buyer there. He tried them. They loved them. So we ended up in Bristol Farms. Then we progressed into Gelson's. But right now we have, obviously we started with just the pickles, but we pickled other things. And those two other things happen to be eggs. And then we also pickled green tomatoes. But, well, we kind of took the green tomatoes off the shelf after a while. People just weren't buying them. And I think simply because of the fact that people were unfamiliar with what they were. And still, we're making them in a very limited amount, because we have a couple of stores that probably would take them, but overall, the two products that are really flying are the pickles, but actually even more so are the eggs. The pickled eggs are really are probably our best mover, and then we just recently. Well, it hasn't been recent, but we've been working on this as well, is just taking the brine itself and bottling the brine because it's so unique in the method of making it, which is our big secret. And so we came up with the idea of actually using it as a mixer for cocktails. So we started playing around with Bloody Mary, using it for Bloody Marys, micheladas. Something called picklebacks are very popular now. Basically, it's a shot of whiskey chased by a shot of pickle juice. Actually, it's not really pickle juice. It's pickle. Well, ours is pickle brine, not juice. But that's a very popular drink. So anyway, we decided we would bottle that, and it's taken us a while now, but we finally just got our first order in Total Wine and More. And we're going to be distributing that in Southern California.
You're going to be distributing the
brine
for wine.
Brine for wine.
Brine, well, it's for hard liquor, really, more because you make or beer, because you can make micheladas with it. You can make Bloody Marys. So,
I think I've had it in Bloody Mary, have I not?
Yes.
I don't know.
So
Did you?
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we the way that I approached Total Wine, because it's a big company. I mean, they have like 168 stores nationwide, and we're not going national yet. Actually, they actually wanted us to go national, and I was like, no,
It's too much right
a
now.
little too much, too fast, too much.
Yeah.
So we agreed that we would just do the Southern California stores. But basically, what I did was I took a bottle. I went to like 3 or 4 different Total Wine stores, gave them a free bottle to the manager. I said, hey, please just try it, and they all loved it. All the like 3 or 4 managers of these stores. So then because I had to go to corporate. Then when I approached corporate, they all agreed to basically back me up. And that's how we got in.
Wow. Yeah. So you just kind of like took action and approached these businesses, and they just all loved it, basically.
Right. Right. The product pretty much sells itself.
And this product started as wanting to make some sort of healthy drink for your family.
Correct.
Wow.
It's pretty phenomenal.
It is pretty. That's really phenomenal. That's amazing. I mean, do you ever think about just, I don't know, just how that, that experience, just that it just was born, and here you are now getting your product into so many stores.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, at one point when he says, I'm going to use, your health drink, to make pickles. And I was like, ugh, pickles. I was never a big pickle person. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm like, whatever, do what you want to do. Well, of course, it turned out to be so delicious that I love them. Yeah.
How did you get the idea for the green tomatoes? Those are really delicious, and I wonder, that sounds more southern to me.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually my grandmother used to make pickled green tomatoes. So it's also a kind of a European thing too.
Jewish
thing.
thing.
Yeah, Jewish thing too.
But green tomatoes specifically.
Yeah, and of course my grandmother, my parents, my grandparents were not into hot and spicy, so they weren't using habaneros to make them. But my grandmother used to make pickled green tomatoes.
Yeah, I never heard of them before. I mean, I associate green tomatoes with southern cooking. Fried green tomatoes, but
right.
I wonder if your green tomatoes would do better in a southern environment.
It's possible. Because when we used to do demos and people from the South would taste them, they would be like, oh my gosh, you got green tomatoes. They were shocked because nobody has green tomatoes. And they loved them. But again, they weren't selling as quickly as we had hoped because they were our favorites. But we had to kind of pull
they're
back
a little
on them.
alien to people here.
They are. They don't know what they are. A lot of people thought they were tomatillos. But they're not. They're actual green tomatoes.
But I think that what we're really looking to do is continuing to brand ourselves and creating a footprint. And then we can obviously, once, even right now, Gelson's is only carrying our eggs. So I think as we gain a larger footprint, then we can perhaps push more products into these stores. But it requires a lot of demos, which is also very, very expensive, especially if we're hiring companies to do those demos.
Well, in the beginning, we were doing them, driving everywhere, from all the way down to San Diego every weekend. It would be production on a Saturday, and every Sunday we'd just drive to either LA or San Diego and all over. It was exhausting. But, I think that's really, because of that effort, that's what really kind of pushed our product along, too.
And now we're doing a lot of internet marketing, social media marketing.
Yeah, that's good. Do you have a website or?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'll ask you at the end what the website is. So, this isn't a full-time thing, right?
Kind of more for her it is. For me, I have a day job.
So how do you balance that out? The pickle business and your job?
It's
It's not a balancing act. It's pretty much, all week long I'm working my day job. Christina's, working in production,
For pickles.
during the week,
Mhm.
and then on the weekends, and we both work together. Today we worked actually pretty hard on Shmakee. So yeah,
He works 7 days a week. Poor guy. I feel so bad.
kind of
Yeah.
we're pretty
Work.
busy.
But
Mhm.
it's worth it.
yeah.
It's worth it. And you should read. We got this morning, we got this great message on through our website
Mhm.
from this customer who tasted our
I don't know if I can find it again.
pickled eggs and just wanted to tell us how wonderful they were. And it just kind of makes you feel so good because we work so hard, and just to be able to, see this message from someone that really loved our product, it just was like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. You're
Yeah. It really kind
Yeah,
of
we have people too.
touching people.
Yeah, we have people who tried our products. How are you going to find it?
Oh.
we have
I
people
have it.
who've tried our products, and that used to live in Southern California, and then moved to like Ohio, and asking us to ship them out to them and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Do you ship? I know that you were at one point, and I don't know if you still are, weren't you on Amazon?
We were on Amazon. We kind of pushed away from that. It was just we wanted to just focus on retail.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of work, and I don't know that we were really making all that much money.
Right.
Again, that may be something we'll pick up again later on, but right now, our focus was really, and especially with the getting the pickle brine on the shelves was a big priority.
Mhm.
Well, I found it, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
So this is what this gentleman said today. He goes, "Hi, on impulse, I bought a jar of pickled eggs from Gelson's Dana Point. They are excellent. Looking at your website, it seems you are located here in California, which makes them even more fantastic. Just letting you know you have another happy customer. Thanks." Isn't that great?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
That's great.
I
Well, they're happy
know.
customers too.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we like to get ours at Pacific Ranch. The original.
And
The original. That's
the
right.
original. That's right. The original. They will be carrying our green tomatoes. They're going to be exclusive. Yeah, I have a case
Yeah.
for them. I just have to.
Exclusive,
Meaning no other store will carry the green tomatoes.
Meaning you will not allow any other store.
No, they will, but nobody,
Okay, so exclusive, you mean this is your one
the only
outlet.
store that
Okay.
right now will be carrying them.
Yeah, because they love
Just
you
for
so
you.
much,
They
right?
do.
Yeah.
Just for us. You may need to get this, not that you need to drive to the south, but, you may start thinking about
Green
getting the
tomatoes.
green tomatoes in the south.
Mm.
You never know. Expanding.
That's
Alabama, for example.
true. Mm. Yeah.
You could take some for them.
That's right. You can.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
I could take some. yeah.
Next time you
Yeah,
go
you
to. Next time you go, you can,
Yeah.
I
take
don't
a
think
jar.
you can carry them on the plane though.
I think you can in check baggage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they
you'd have to
throw them
pack really
around.
carefully.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It's a glass
still
jar.
doable,
It's a
yeah.
glass jar.
Yeah, you could wrap it in like bubble wrap, right?
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
And in a
Yeah,
box.
but that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Or you could just tell us, give us an address, and
Oh.
we'll ship it while you're flying, and it'll arrive there when you get there.
Okay, that's very doable.
That's
I
another
would
thing we
have
could
to
do.
identify independent grocery stores, maybe. I
Well,
mean,
you know,
most of them I've seen them in chains.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There's no Trader Joe's in the area of Alabama that I'm going to be visiting. So, yeah, a couple of
true.
shopping centers
That's
want a
true.
Trader Joe's, but I don't think there's anything yet. So.
So, by the way, so the name is spelled Shmakee.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know how to
Shmakee.
spell
Spell it.
Shmakee.
This
Shmakee.
Hmakee.
And a lot of times people will
Shmakee.
pronounce it Shmakee. They're not quite sure.
Oh,
But it's
right.
pronounced Shmakee. Shmakee.
We should do a jingle.
Mhm. I know, right?
Yes.
A Shmakee jingle.
For
Yeah.
the commercial.
Exactly.
As you know, we love them, and so we have them for breakfast, and we had them for breakfast this morning too. And yeah, so it's a breakfast lunch
That
type
is
of thing for us.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
you've tried chopping them up and sauteing them with the scrambled eggs.
Ooh, there's
to
an
try it.
idea. There's a recipe, Mom. Okay, we'll try that next time. We just eat it on the side. Yeah.
Just eat it. Well, that's one thing we should do on our website is have recipes.
Recipes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
could all
smart.
test
Yeah.
recipes.
Tuna salad recipe.
That's so good. The
Yeah,
You could
tuna salad.
encourage, on. You said you've been using social media, right? You could encourage others to provide recipes via social media.
That's a great
Yeah, I don't know how
idea.
to do it, but yeah.
Mhm.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, once in a while I have them.
Yes, you do.
I want to get into, because I know it's the whole, it's the American dream, right? To be an entrepreneur, the land of the free, home of the brave,
Is that
right?
a dream or a curse?
I know, right? Well, see, there's the rub, right? But everybody talks about wanting to be able to work for themselves,
Be their
and
own
so
boss.
right, and so I wonder what drives you. What drives you to keep doing this, other than the product sells itself, but you're working hard. So what drives you? What's your mission, so to speak?
Build it and sell it.
Build it and sell it.
It's
Right.
correct. Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Mhm.
We may or may not. If we can get it to that point, we may or may not ever sell the what is the term called the black box.
What's that?
The black box. The black box is the secret ingredient. So sometimes what other companies have done is they've sold the distribution rights or the manufacturing rights, but we could potentially keep the black box. In other words, we continue to just make brine. That's all we do. Ship it off to who's ever manufacturing, and that's the only thing that we would do. That we might, but I will see. Well, it's just a kind of a pipe dream right now. We'll see what happens.
Patience. Is that the key? Patience?
I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
Just
yeah.
keep going. Keep
look,
going.
again, what? Total Wine and More had basically opened it up for us to go national, and I said no.
Yeah.
And part of it was just being practical and just understanding that we don't have because to be able to produce that much product, we probably have to get some kind of a co-packer or a bottler.
Yeah.
To do that for us,
Mhm.
just and obviously it's going to take more capital. So at some point as well, we might be looking for an investor. So if anybody's listening and they're
Yeah.
they're thinking they want to take part in this, we'll make a good deal.
You're open.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
great. That's a great idea. Great idea.
Oh, you should share about Pepperdine University, how that came about.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
That's one of my alma maters. I
Oh,
have
it
quite a
is?
few. But yeah, that's one of them. For
well, I can't
one of my
say that we've
masters.
actually utilized the great benefit of it, but a coworker of mine who was a business major at Pepperdine told us about this program called Business Education of Business. I forget what it was called. I forget the name of the
B2B,
program.
Education to
B2B,
business, I think.
business to. Well, anyway, it's part of their graduate program, and a class, and basically what they do is they choose 2 or 3 different companies for and that class focuses on those 2 companies for the entire semester.
Really?
Yeah, all the students, so there'll be a group that'll be looking at marketing, a group that will be looking at distribution, a group that will be looking at branding and all different kinds of things. So there are a lot of companies that apply. We were chosen, and
Wow.
You were
Yeah.
chosen.
We were
So
chosen.
they're gonna
Our
be
company was chosen.
we already
Shmakee
we already
was-
did it.
You already did it.
We did it.
We already did it.
So they
In
did all
Malibu.
that work for you
Yeah.
as a study project and then gave it to
It
you.
was
Yeah,
pretty
we
amazing.
have like
Wow.
3 or 4. We have like 5 volumes of study stuff.
5 volumes.
Yeah, we do. I mean, because each group had to at the end of the class, because we went there I think 2 times. The first time to introduce to the class our product, or maybe 3 times. And there
I
was
think it's
there was a mid when we came midway, just to kind of see how things were going, and then we went to the final, where each one of the groups were obviously graded by the professor in terms of their presentation. So they treated us as though we were the clients, and they made presentations to us about what they recommended, and then they gave us these all the written work and the folders that they did. So it was pretty, but
It was a great experience.
it was a
though.
great experience.
I
Was there
bet.
Yeah, the-
estimations and everything? Like if you did this, you'd get this
Mm.
much and all that
I
stuff?
think maybe some of that
Some
was
of
there.
that, yeah.
But they also investigated competition, for example,
With other pickles?
Mhm.
Interesting.
and so it was. I need to go back and look at that stuff and see if
Yeah,
there's any
because
hints that I might be able to employ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But
like
it was
major.
it was a big honor.
It was a huge honor, and
Yeah.
they were so cute. First time we went, we brought them samples, and I was like, just wanted to make sure that they're spicy
Yes.
because a lot of them were from different countries and wasn't sure if they were used to spicy. So anyway, I gave them all a sample, and then we were kind of talking about Shmakee, really presenting who we were, and then they're like, "Can we have some more, please?" It was the cutest thing.
Starving
Oh.
students.
Yes.
yeah.
But
And
they, yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I'm saying there were. How many kids were there?
I don't know. We have a photo.
Yeah. There were probably about 20 to 30 students in the class.
Yeah, I think they really enjoyed working, trying to figure out, because each one had their own specific group, and they just really enjoyed it. Yeah, and the professor, he just really loved us. But at the end, we're like, "Can we please take a photo with you?" The whole SGI have to take photos.
Right.
So we all went outside and took a photo with the professor and all the students and us. And the professor had said, "I have done this for many, many years. Not one of the businesses that we chose ever wanted to take a photo. We were the
Wow.
first." And I
Wow.
was like, "Really?"
Aw,
Yeah, it was really
that's
sweet.
So wonderful.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. And a lot of them, actually, there was 2 groups. One group, they actually helped start an Instagram and a Twitter account for us
Mhm.
because we were so new. We didn't do anything. So they actually did that for us.
That's wonderful.
That was
Wow.
really good.
That's good.
And you have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I don't do as much as I should. I should be posting a lot more. So I'll get on it.
It's hard.
Well,
It is.
are
Hard to
your
get it.
I forgot what they're called. Can anyone see everybody's posts on your Facebook page, or are those private?
I don't think they're private. They're open.
They're probably public.
Yeah, they're public.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted it public, so.
It's probably a default setting you could do.
Mhm.
So
if I post something, for example, anyone coming onto your page can see it.
On the page, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I just got something on Facebook that if you do post for Shmakee, it is open. So I don't know how that works. I'll have to look.
Well, I think
into
all the people who friended us would probably get a notice, wouldn't they?
Well, I think, for example, if I wanted to, I don't think I could provide a link to your product from my page, for example. I think I would have to link to you.
Well, you can link
Because
to our
we're
website.
Facebook
Yeah,
friends.
link to
I could
Shmakee.
mention it, but I don't think Shmakee would come up highlighted if I mentioned it.
Shmakee brand foods. You'd have to do Shmakee brand foods. and
Right,
think
but
it will.
I think I would have to link to you and give the name.
Oh,
I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know either.
I
We'll
don't
have
know.
to experiment.
Facebook's confusing, and they're always changing their stuff,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
really annoying.
Mm.
But I think what's really interesting is as a small business, you didn't just focus on pickles. You did eggs and green tomatoes, which a lot of small businesses fail at. Is what they do is they only focus on one thing and assume that one thing is gonna, boost them up when really they need to try a bunch of other things. So was that really your mindset going into it, or did you just were you just bored of pickles and needed something new?
We started with both. We started with more than one product right
Right from
pretty
the
much
beginning.
pretty much
Yeah.
from the get go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the stores also they like when when you have a variety.
Yeah.
It's kind of again a branding thing.
When you're like a company and
Yeah,
company has a bunch of stuff.
yeah. So I think they appreciate that.
Mm.
But yeah, so it wasn't. I mean, maybe in the future we'll think about pickling something else, but for now, it's just for the most part, it's just the pickled cucumbers and the pickled eggs. And again, the tomatoes are very limited, and of course
And the
now
brine.
the brine,
Yeah.
the bottled brine for cocktail mixes, Yeah. which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brine.
It's good. And people use it in recipes as well, right?
You can. I mean, it may be expensive. Better probably if you're going to use the brine in a recipe, to just buy a bottle of pickles, enjoy the pickles, and then
use that.
for
juice.
example, you could take the juice and marinate a chicken. It's delicious. Cook a chicken
Nice.
after you've marinated it in the brine. It's really good.
Mhm.
Or many
Fish,
other
maybe?
things.
With
Huh?
fish, have you tried it with
haven't
fish?
tried fish, but I'm sure it's probably good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably good.
Yeah, I never thought about fish. We should do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. So, did you see yourselves when you were younger? Did you see yourselves being entrepreneurs? Did you, I know, Christina, you were a dancer
Right,
before,
right.
right? So, it's interesting because I feel, my family was always somehow entrepreneurial all my life. And so I feel like I have that entrepreneurial spirit within me. But I haven't, I've tried various entrepreneurial things, but I haven't, found the thing yet. Right. And so I'm just curious if you grew up around entrepreneurs or if this just sort of fell into your life, like how did this all develop for you?
Yeah, I never thought of owning my own business. Obviously I wanted to dance and I did. And then, we got married, had kids. So it wasn't something that was in the forefront of my mind. And so for me, I think it just kind of fell. I was like, oh, we could sell pickles? Oh, I didn't know. Really?
Oh.
Let's do it. Not
Cool.
knowing what we were getting ourselves into because it is a lot of work. But
Yeah.
it kind of did just kind of happen.
Mhm.
Happen. And here we are, And I mean, do you have entrepreneurs in your family? I don't.
Well, yes, I suppose. On my mother's side, I had uncles who owned businesses. My aunt, I had a lot of entrepreneurs on my mother's side.
But did you specifically want to own your own business?
Well, I mean, I always wanted to be my own boss, and as you know, I mean, we dabbled in all kinds of things. All kinds of things we were trying, I think, even including multi-level marketing schemes that we got involved with. Unfortunately, painfully, but always, I think we always had that, or at least I always had that thought that because I'd been involved in the mortgage business, which is my day job since 1994, but I never thought in my mind, even till today, that was going to be my career.
Right.
even though I'm good at it and I've been doing it for a long time. It was never really the thing that I ended up. But I think that even my whole life I was always trying to do, try for independence and trying to try. I never had I was very much the opposite of my dad, who was who was always kind of afraid to really look outside the box. He just wanted a solid job and I was kind of just the opposite of that. I wanted to always try to. I was never afraid of taking a risk.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. Being
Never afraid
in
of taking
business
a
is
risk.
Risky, right?
Yeah.
It
Never
is a
afraid of
risk.
taking a risk. So
That's
I've always been, been willing to take those risks. I would like to certainly think that Shmakee is kind of the last frontier for us and the things that we've been doing. Because again, we have a solid product. We've been doing it since, we got our first store in 2015. So now it's been over, it'll be coming on 5 years now that we've been doing it. And most companies don't last, but their first 18 months.
True. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in the game.
Yeah, we were even told if you can make it past 3 years, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
People
Yes.
did
People
it.
keep pushing us to going on to Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Shark
Oh, really?
Tank.
Shark Tank.
I
yeah.
bet.
No, I don't know.
I mean, the pickles will sell themselves.
Right. Shark Tank. That would get you some really
Especially if you
publicity.
give the entire audience samples.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, you can-
I think
you
sharks.
give samples.
The sharks. of
Yeah.
course.
They
I
take
haven't seen
samples.
Shark Tank, but
You
I
haven't
can
seen it?
imagine. No.
Oh,
no.
you should watch
Yeah.
it.
No.
Then you'll probably be bugging us yourself. so
Right. Get on
there.
it. Get on
Get
it.
on
That'd be
it.
great. Well,
It's
I mean,
worth
just
watching.
the publicity alone, you can't.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Shmakee
And I have a
pickles.
great idea. And whenever I have great ideas, I have to say them. I think you should publish a Shmakee recipe book.
With a ton
So
of
that's my.
recipes.
I'm sorry.
right? With a
Yeah,
ton of
yeah,
recipes.
yeah. I'm just seeing that vision of a Shmakee recipe book.
You want to
And-
help me come up with some
Yes.
recipes?
Well,
Yes, I totally would.
There you go.
I
Let's
totally
do
would.
it.
My mom would probably be better at it because she is a great cook. She's better than I am, and I'm humble enough to say that. My parents had a restaurant,
That's
so that was
right.
one of the entrepreneurial things my parents did, and I grew up with that. And they made phenomenal food. It was just incredible. So.
If only they had Shmakee, it would have been
Exactly.
even more.
I know, but they were looking to bottle salad dressing and actually get it into. Weren't we getting it into Trader Joe's back then? That was a long time ago. Was it? What was it? It wasn't Trader. Yeah, but there was some store. What store was that? There was falafel and there was a dress. Our salad dressing was amazing. It was Mother's Market, so that that almost happened. Anyway, so we were bottling it and all that stuff. So anyway, I think about all of that sometimes, and I think, and if there was a recipe book, you know, as well.
Well, Devin had asked me a question regarding balancing, right? Well, the weight right now is certainly heavier on my day job, my mortgage job, than I can. So our goal, even though we don't necessarily know exactly when this is going to happen, is so that I can leave the mortgage business and just focus 100% full time.
Yes.
And then I can do recipe books. I can build up the website more. There's a lot of things that I could do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Shmakee is not yet big enough to support us yet. You know?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, we're making a small profit, but not enough where I could leave the job that I have. So yes, I mean, it's hard to balance that out because there's so much I would love to do, and yet I'm so limited to the time that I have because of just of the
Another
practicality
job,
of daily life.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're determined, but what sources of what helps you keep the faith? that you can do this, what resources do you have? Great question.
Well, practice of Buddhism.
Yeah.
Practice of Buddhism because we feel that all through this process and our practice of Buddhism has shown us actual proof and protection and things happening when we need them to happen, so there's no question that and we feel there's certainly we for altruistic purposes we want to be able to help more people, and we feel that this financial freedom would certainly help us do that.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. So being able to, I guess, understand that all these beautiful things that, it's very mystical, the Pepperdine and then the
Geschmack.
the Geschmack, right? All of these different experiences
Yiddish.
seem to have seem to have happened for you, and so would you say that is from sort of the faith, the practicing Buddhism, and really having that determination to do what you need to do to help others see that they can do it as well, right?
Yeah, well, no question, because in fact, at a recent meeting we were talking about this idea of wisdom, and wisdom is not something that wisdom comes from a different place, and so we obviously, using our minds, we try to come up with the best ideas and try to move forward with those, but without wisdom and kind of knowing what to do. Wisdom has led us to where we've been able to sustain this business for the last 5 years, and so far so good. Right.
Yeah. Well, and you provide inspiration to others, others that are as I said, this is the American dream for people, is to have a business, to be entrepreneurial, right? And a lot of people have that dream, but they're afraid. They have fear. You shared that you are able to take risks, and some people need to get over that fear.
Well,
right?
I'll share it kind of. I think sharing this story, which is one of my greatest experiences, will kind of give you an idea of who we are. When my younger son, who's now almost 21, and actually he lives in Utah now, and and was texting me about Bloody Mary recipes.
So I gotta go to a party soon.
Yeah, so
hit me up.
Because we sent him some brine and
so
some pickles,
and he loved it. But anyway, when he was an adolescent, when he was just going into junior high school, we had this father and son where all the dads and all the sons of that class had to go to this dad and son meeting in the evening. And basically, the whole thing was, okay, now we're going to tell you that you're going to start growing hair where you never thought you'd have hair. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start, smelling, and you need to start taking showers and all these different things that kids need to do. Yes. So there was an exercise that that we had where they said, okay, now what we want everybody to do is, I want the dads and sons to talk to each other, and just for the next 5 minutes or whatever. And I want the dads to tell the sons what they most admire about them, and the sons to tell the dads what they admire most about them. And again, my son he couldn't have been more than 12 years old, 11 years old at the time. So I can't remember what I said to him about what I admire about him, but I'll never forget what he said to me, which really is, he said to me, "Dad, the thing I most admire about you is that you never give up."
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to Buddhism and when it comes to our faith, that's really the thing that's really given us that ability to never give up. And so many people do, but we've never given up.
And you've been practicing Buddhism for a very long time, I believe.
It's
Right?
1975 for me.
1987 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was only
Wow,
20,
that's
28.
great.
Like I was 21.
And I think what
Don't do the
chanting
math.
does is, you know, really gives you the courage to do what you need to do or do what you want to do, because sometimes it is scary, and
Yes.
you know, you have to pull that courage out, and that's what chanting, you know, Nam-myo Renge Kyo does, is to really bring out that courage. And of course, Michael touched upon wisdom and really kind of aligning your life with the universe. And I think that's what Buddhism has really done to help us with Shmakee, is always being there at the right place at the right time. I mean,
Right.
it just is amazing to us from you know, day one when we went to Pacific Ranch, you know, to where we are now. How many stores are we at now? I don't remember. It's
Like 50.
yeah,
close to
so
50.
it's
Wow.
pretty incredible.
From 1 to 50 stores. Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
That truly is amazing.
So we're gonna continue
Not everybody
growing.
can say that.
We need to make that 10 times.
Yeah.
Yes. And I believe you will.
Yeah.
I believe you will.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the next thing, because our pickled eggs are really very popular, and so we'd like to get them around to bars, because beer and pickled eggs seem to go really well together.
Right, you told me
Yeah.
that, and I was
So,
like, "Wow!" I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know
I'd
that.
like to just, you know, go
Local
around to
bars.
local bars and just say, here, give them some, and just say, please try them out and see how your clientele likes them.
Yeah,
Right.
they're-
Football's happening
Exactly.
now, right?
Yeah. And the
Football.
thing is that there are a lot of bars that do not have food licenses. They don't have kitchens. So the only thing that they
Oh.
can serve are popcorn and
pretzels.
peanuts and pretzels. And this would be a nice addition for those bars that don't have food licenses. I think it would go over very well. And they sell them maybe for $1.50 a piece. And so that, and again, here we go back to time.
Yeah.
I don't have time
Mhm.
to go from bar to bar to bar and start doing it.
Right.
Christina can maybe take that upon herself to do that.
Yes.
But
I told you I would do it.
Good.
Me
Wow.
go into a bar. Can you see me?
I know. I could see that. I could see that.
Actually, my friend Vicky said she'd go with me.
Oh,
I said, okay, make
good.
a list.
Good.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
You'll go with
yeah. Yeah. See, there you go. You have somebody to go with
me.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I'm trying to focus on.
Yeah.
Got to keep moving forward.
That's right. One
Just
step in
keep
front of another.
swimming.
Just keep
Uh-huh.
Just keep-
One step in front of another.
We were talking about sharks earlier, and I told my grandma that sharks just keep swimming, and if they stop swimming, they'll die. And she didn't know that.
That's right.
I
And
didn't know that.
yeah,
either.
they like, even when they're sleeping, they turn off one side of their brain, right? And then
Wow.
they just keep swimming. So it's really interesting. We should be like sharks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why they call it Shark Tank.
Shark
I
Tank.
don't think so.
Why do
You
they
know.
call it Shark Tank?
Why
Because
do
they'll
they
feed
call
you
it?
to the sharks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're-
they're terrible.
have you
Thinking
watched
more like
that? I mean, it's pretty
barracudas.
rough. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd be
Have you ever watched
nervous.
it?
I've seen the highlights, and I've probably seen some episodes.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
You should watch it. It's really interesting.
It is.
I mean, I'm not a habitual watcher. I don't watch it all the time, but every once in a while I'll turn it on and
See what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah, they're interesting.
because they have millionaires who are basically the sharks, so to speak,
Mhm.
and they have a company come on and present their product, and then what happens is that if they like it, if some of them they'll start pitching financial support for a piece of the company.
Hmm.
And then they start fighting with each other and negotiating. It's very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of the highlights where somebody has like a terrible business and they're just yelling at them.
Oh yeah.
Basically, like,
Yeah.
whoa.
It's part of the entertainment thing.
Yeah.
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 I was watching this video today that was talking about sort of being able to, I mean, I guess they were connecting it to being an entrepreneur, but just the idea of thinking in terms of abundance, thinking in terms of being able to sort of attract all of the profits to you, the mystical experiences to you, so that you can, just having that sort of spirit of, I will succeed, I will profit, I will be able to make something of this. And I'm wondering if that's how you two, I'm sure there are days where you're like, I can't deal with this. This is too much, right? But is that how you're able to sort of keep swimming? Keep swimming, Devin? Is that what it is? Keep swimming. Is that how you're able to keep swimming? And
yeah, it's kind of interesting you brought that up, because this morning when I got up and started chanting and kind of reflecting, I was like, what are we
5
doing?
o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
I know, I'm so sorry. I couldn't sleep. So I was just chanting. I was like, okay, what is it? And I got out our monthly magazine, The Living Buddhism, and that article, I have it right there, is called About Your Resolve. And it talks about that when you're praying, to really say, yes, I will be successful. My, Shmakee will be nationwide, or whatever it is that, you want in your life. Yes. That's how powerful, prayer and thought is. It goes hand in hand. So, I was just, that's what I was like, so determined this morning. So I had Michael heard me, I had to get up.
Michael's like, I can hear the chanting. This video was interesting because it even though it was actually quoting scripture from the Bible and things like that, but a lot of what it was saying was very Buddhist. And very also, law of attraction, which I think is very Buddhist, right? And just, it was so interesting to me because it was basically lifting up, hey, this is, you just need to be very determined that this is what's going to happen, and I think you're right. That's sort of that resolve, that, and visualizing, and with your thoughts, right? You just said with your thoughts, to make it a little, less faith-based, more of, having faith in maybe yourself, and that you're putting your thoughts out there and you're really able to visualize it, right? That's what it's going to be, Shmakee is going to be all over.
Well, you have to have some kind of goal that you're working towards. I mean, you can't just be saying, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
You got to have a goal and work towards that goal. So, chanting for that goal, that maybe that's what I want, but maybe that's not the path for us to succeed. It may be, veering off to the right, but it's going in that same direction. But, you have to really, I think, really believe in the power of prayer and where your journey is supposed to be, and really trusting that, because sometimes, our mind, you can't really trust your mind all the time. So, and I think it goes back to that wisdom, really trusting that wisdom to say, okay, if I'm chanting for this, but somehow it's taken me in this direction, then that's the way that I'm supposed to go. That's where my success will be, or my happiness lies. So I think you really have to have just trust in yourself, in your prayer, and your practice. I mean, my practice, my faith.
Beautiful. This has been wonderful, huh?
Yeah, just keep swimming.
Keep swimming. We're gonna just keep swimming.
Maybe not with the sharks, though. Huh?
No, not with sharks.
Not with the sharks. You know what's interesting? When you asked how many stores we're in, and you said 50, you said that right as we hit the 50 mark.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we're not on the 50 mark, yeah. So I was just like, whoa. You guys got some power over
Yeah, we
here.
got some rhythm here.
Yeah.
Some power going on.
That's pretty wild.
Crazy power. Yeah.
Well, we should certainly, you told me you were going to ask about it, but we should certainly mention our website, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just simply shmakee.com.
Oh,
That is easy.
SHMAKEE.com. Shmakee.
And you have an
Nice.
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. What is that? at domain?
Is it all?
I think it's just Shmakee.
At Shmakee?
At Shmakee.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
you can see you can go on our website and you can see all the stores we're in. Actually, I have to update it because I didn't put in any of the Gelston stores yet, but you can go in there and get an idea of where a store might be.
Right.
And do you have like an about also, like where about this?
Yeah. There's we have on the website how we just kind of what we talked about, how we came up with the whole
Yeah.
thing. And,
Okay.
Just a correction on Twitter. It's at Shmakee Foods.
Shmakee Foods.
Yeah.
Shmakee Foods.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you put Shmakee in, you'll probably find it.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been a great podcast. I'm sorry that I'm sick and I keep coughing all the time.
That's okay. Just get better.
I'll try. We'll definitely have you two on again.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Definitely when the business is booming.
Even
That'd be
more
great.
booming, huh?
Like we'll check back up on
Sure.
you guys.
That's right. That'd be great.
Oh, okay. So
I
you better get on
I better
it.
hit the road. And
That's
better
right.
start-
Get to those bars,
Get to those
Christina.
bars.
Swim.
That's funny.
All right. Well, this has been the Bayat.
Bayat Beat.
Good night, Arnold.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Well, wind up, wind up.